What's up, guys? Chris over here at Cover 7. I know what you're thinking. This isn't about college football. You're right. It's not. When I started this channel a couple months ago, I said I would drop some life stories, some life advice videos. This is one of those videos, honestly. Like I said, please don't think this is about me or anything like that. I want to share some advice, especially for the brothers out there, the young men, even older men. I'm going to give you some advice, and don't do what I did, because this is a very serious topic, especially if you're me and you experienced. I can tell you that 100%. October, as you know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's one of the leading types of cancers for women, obviously. I myself have had cancer. I had testicular cancer. I was 23 years old, so I'm super young. It's common in younger males, but overall for men, it's actually less than 1%. So it's actually pretty damn rare, believe it or not. And today I want to share that story. And before I start, this story is going to be long. Bear with me if you do. And I'll probably bounce around a little bit here because I got to talk a lot about my life up until that point, just to get my point across, essentially. If you guys get anything from this video, especially men, please get your junk, get your stuff checked out. If you got pain down there, go in and get it looked at. Do not do what I did. I promise you. That's something I tell a lot of people nowadays. A lot of people know that I had cancer. I was super young, like I said. I'm more open to talk about it the older I've gotten. I was embarrassed for a lot of years just because it's something as a guy. If you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to talk about your nuts, right? It's not cool, right? So with that being said, I'll start here at the very, very beginning. I was 23 years old. It was actually the fall, a couple days before Thanksgiving in 2008. Up until this point in my life, I had just gotten through college. I played sports in college. I was a really good athlete in high school. I come from a very small community in northeast Nebraska, surrounding towns. I knew everybody. I was pretty popular that way. And I can't tell you, mind you, when I had cancer, how many people reached out to me, and I was kind of shy. I didn't really want to talk about it. So it's funny when I look back at it, I'm like, man, I wish I would have probably spread the word more then, instead of probably not talking about it. But I had no money growing up. My parents didn't have a lot of money. I would call poverty level poor. I won't go into my childhood, but we had no money until we got into high school. My parents did a little bit better, but my parents are still the two hardest working people I've ever met in my life. And I come from an area where it's a lot of hard work. It's physical labor. It's farming, or you raise cattle, or your parents are farm hands, essentially. Not a lot of high-paying jobs back there. That's honest to God truth here in Nebraska, especially in the rural areas. But we didn't have any money, and I got out of college like a dumbass. I was one of those kids in high school that I didn't apply myself in school, so I thought I was going to go play in the NFL, or, just stupid, kid like myself. I worked hard, had a hell of a work ethic, but I didn't care about school. I probably had like a 2.9 GPA or a 2.8. It was terrible. I go to college on a scholarship, so that paid for that for the most part. But when I got out of school, I had no dreams. I had no aspirations. I didn't know what to do without sports. My whole life was revolved around sports. I'm sure you guys can probably tell that if you watch this channel on college football. But long story short, I was working construction, and I learned a lot in those couple of years doing construction. I actually built pole barns. I worked for Morton Buildings, pole barns, and I built houses. I have dug my fair share of holes, guys, with a shovel, physical labor, 10, 12-hour physical labor days. And at that time of my life, I was in the best shape of my life. One, I had just gotten out of college. They had taught me how to lift. I always ate super clean for the most part in my whole life. My parents didn't have enough food in the house, or junk food at all growing up. If we even had enough food, I went to bed hungry sometimes. But it was funny, and I got to tell you guys this. When I was growing up, I was in 8th grade. I was 5'8". I could dunk a basketball. I dunked it in 8th grade game, and I wanted to grow, though, right? My aspirations were to go play football, even though I was a really good basketball player, too. I wanted to play football, but I'm like, man, I was so freaking skinny. I didn't weigh shit. I think I weighed like $120 or $130 as an 8th grader, which isn't much, at 5'8". I guess that isn't terrible. But then I shot up 3.5, 4 inches one summer. I got to 6'1", which is exactly how tall I am now. I quit growing, if you haven't noticed. I've gotten wider and fatter over the years, but my freshman year, I probably weighed 150 pounds. Well, in a small town like that, you don't have facilities or anybody to teach you how to lift weights or anything like that. So I learned how to lift in high school, but I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. None of us did. Mind you, this was the era before really YouTube or cell phones or anything like that. So you really didn't know. It was just a word of mouth type of thing. Anyway, By the time I was a senior, I was 6'1", and I was about 185 roughly. I got up to 190 in football, but then I lost weight on purpose just to play basketball. You're a little lighter, you jump higher, and then obviously I was a track athlete. I was a high jumper, so and a sprinter, so the less you weigh, the quicker you are type of thing, right? Anyway, so I'm around 180, 190, and I go into college, and they taught me how to lift. They taught me how to eat better, that whole thing, right? I didn't even drink in college, hardly any of that. So I got up to, I think when I was 23, when I started working construction when I was 22, I wanted to kind of be like a bodybuilder. You know, I didn't want to compete, but I wanted to get big. For the first time in my life, I want to weigh over 200 pounds, right? I want to be like a decent size. Well, I got up to like 212 or 213. Mind you, and I wish I could go back to looking like this. Now I'm 40, and I'm old, like I said, and I still work out, but boy, the metabolism has definitely slowed down as I gotten older. Take note of that, young guys. That's a true thing. I was less than 9% body fat, 8%. I was so freaking lean, dude. Put on like 25 pounds of muscle over those years. Anyway, I'm in great shape. I ate healthy. I barely drank. I'm 23. I'm working my ass off. I was miserable personally because I was broke and all that. But I lived with a couple of my best friends who are still my best friends today. We lived in a house here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I worked with my best friend every day, so we went to work, and I'll never forget this. It was 2 days before Thanksgiving, and if you guys know what it's like here in Nebraska in the winter, Thanksgiving time, October, even now, it's miserable out. It's always windy as shit. It's rainy, but we're out there and we're building this little garage basically for somebody. And my best friend who worked with me, and we lived together, like I said, and we're still best friends to this day. We're unloading 2x4s off a trailer, and he accidentally hits me with a 2x4 in the nuts. And you know how it's funny as shit when a guy gets hit in the nuts, or at least I laugh anyway. I think we all do. But you guys know what it's like. You get hit there, it freaking hurts, right? You bend over and the other guys are laughing at you. And I didn't think anything of it, guys. I went right back to work, joking around about it. Anyway, that night we got home, and again, I lived with like 4 or 5 other of my best friends, and I had the basement to myself. That was my part of the house, and I'm laying down there, and it's like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, mind you. And I'm on my laptop, and I'm laying on the couch watching a basketball game. I'll never forget that. And I remember like my groin hurt, and I'm like, God damn, what the hell? You know, I didn't think much of it. Finally, I had to get up and take a piss, and I kind of hobble over to the bathroom, and I'm not shitting you guys, and I apologize for being graphic, but I'm gonna be 100% real with you guys and transparent. That's just how I am. So I go down to take a leak, and I look down, and I'm not shitting you guys. My left testicle is the size of a tennis ball. That is not an exaggeration. I had never seen anything like it in my life. I had to do a double take, and it was so black and blue. It was gross. First thing I do is like I step back, and I'm like, what the is going on type of thing. And the only thing I think of, I'm like, I got to call my dad. My dad, mind you, is like my best friend. My dad's a great guy. I love him to death. Still one of my best friends. I talk to him every single day. Anyway, I'm like, I got to call my dad. I didn't know who to call. I'm like, I'm not going to tell my friends upstairs. All they're going to do is point and laugh, rightfully so. So I call my dad, and I'm like, Dad, and I tell him what's going on, and he's like, it dawned on me at that time, mind you, I got a little backstory here. I'm like, he's going to tell Mom. And well, my mom has been in the medical field now for well over 40 years. Super smart lady, knows every hospital, or everybody that almost works for every single hospital, I swear, here in Nebraska. Dad's like, I got to tell your mom. And I'm like, no, you can't tell Mom. Don't tell Mom about this. She doesn't want to hear about her son's junk, that type of thing. And he's like, no. And he hung up the phone, and he tells Mom, and he calls me back, and he's like, I need you to come home tonight. And I'm like, tonight? He's like, yeah, tonight. I need you to come home tonight. You have an appointment tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll never forget that because Thanksgiving was in 2 days. He's like, I need you to be in Elgin tomorrow. I'm like, okay, or tonight, whatever. I'm like, I'll leave now. He's like, I would suggest getting your bags packed and heading back to Elgin tonight. It was like 7 o'clock, so I got like a 2.5, 3 hour drive. So I get in my car. I noticed the pain wasn't terrible, but it was more annoying at that point, right? And it's like you're carrying around. If you're a guy, man, it felt like somebody tied like a 5-pound plate to my left side of my sack. I'm not even joking. Obviously, a lot of fluid in there. It was swelled up, right? So anyway, I get home. My parents are still up. They're like, tomorrow morning, you're going in to the nearby town here. The doctor's coming in, even though he's off. Thankfully, my mom has a ton of connections, right? She worked for that hospital. She knows everybody. She's like, he's coming in. I'm getting you in. You need to get this looked at. And I remember asking my mom specifically, and mind you, I am a dumb 23-year-old kid at this point. I'm like, what is this? Like, I have no clue what the hell you're talking about. Like, what's worst case scenario? She's like, well, maybe they think you got a hernia. I'm like, okay, I'm like, I told her, I'm like, I did get hit there by my friend today, well, maybe that caused it, right? Whatever. So the next day I get up and I go in with my dad. And if you, this is funny, mind you, my mom knows everybody at this hospital. I actually know a majority of the women that are working there. Nobody's in there. It's the day before Thanksgiving. A lot of people are off, right? Nobody wants to be in a hospital over Thanksgiving. You're supposed to be spending time with your family. Well, here I am, and I knew, they told me, like, well, we got to do an ultrasound. I'm like, okay, Jesus. So I know what this is, like women do that when they're pregnant type of thing. I'm gonna have to strip down naked. There's 4 women, mind you, a couple in their 20s, some my mom's age, and I'm like, and then she knows everybody. I'm like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's so freaking cold in there. If you're a dude, you know what I'm talking about here. But I'm like, this is embarrassing. I'm like trying to play with it a little bit to warm it up so I don't look like the 2-year-old boy that I am, right? I'm like, this is just embarrassing. But the pain at this point, mind you guys, and I'm being serious here, was really starting to hurt. And I have like a pretty damn high pain tolerance. I'm like, screw it. I'm like, screw it, whatever. I got to get this done. So they rub this stuff on there and they take these pictures or whatever. And I noticed it was funny because, like, when I was talking to them beforehand, the nurses were all super nice and they were chatty. After I got done, it took only like 10 minutes or whatever. I noticed everybody was really quiet and they're like, Chris, you can go. Your dad's waiting out there, whatever. We'll let the doctor know, and then the doctor will get a hold of your mom. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is everything okay? And one of the ladies looked at me and she goes, I hope you're going to be, or she goes, I think you're going to be good, Chris. And I when she said that, I think you're going to be good, wasn't the answer I wanted to hear. I was like, what? Like, whatever. And of course, I'm a dumb 23-year-old kid. I don't think much of it, whatever. I get in the car with my dad. It's a 20-minute drive back to my parents' house. And I get home and my mom is sitting in the garage just bawling. And mind you, me and my mom at this point in time, I love my mom to death, but those 5 years there, me and mom didn't talk very often, didn't like each other, but my mom was crying. And I asked her, I almost got mad at her. I'm like, what are you crying about? And she's like, Chris, they think you have cancer. And I'm like, again, dumb 23-year-old kid. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea what that word meant other than what I thought old people got, or people that didn't take care of their bodies, or people that smoked or drank too much or any of that shit. I had no clue. I'm like, I remember like looking at my mom. I'm like, I'm 23. I have like 9% body fat. I'm in shape. I'm like, I don't even drink pop. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, Chris, you're going into Lincoln tomorrow, and you're going to a specialist, the best they got in Nebraska. He's the best in the Midwest. This is what he does for a living. You're going to talk to him. You're going to sit down, and you're probably going to have to pull down your pants. He's going to look at it. And you guys are going to have a discussion type of thing. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Whatever. So I go back to bed. We drive down to Lincoln that next day. And this guy, and I swear to God, guys, this guy, I wish I knew his name. I can't thank this dude enough. He was probably in his early 60s at that time. Super straight shooter. I'm glad that he was. But I go in there with him, and he's like, pull your pants down. And I'm like, okay. And mind you, my left testicle is still the size of a freaking tennis ball. And it's really starting to hurt at this point. Like, it's throbbing pain, And he's like, it takes him 2 seconds. He looks, he goes, pull your pants up. He goes, Chris, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, son. He goes, I have a kid. He goes, he's your age, or a little older than you. Excuse me. He goes, I'm going to tell you right now. He goes, I would take your testicle right now. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, I'm serious. If you were my son, I would take it right now. He goes, this thing is rapidly spreading. He's like, and I'm like, I asked the question. I go, how do you even know it's cancer? Aren't you going to do like a biopsy or something like that? And he's like, we could do that. But he goes, that takes 1 to 2 days. He goes, you might not have much time here, son. And I'm like, okay, of course, I have no say in this. My parents are like, no, put him in surgery. So they put me in surgery, and they took it right then and there. Not something you're real proud of, mind you, as a 23-year-old kid. I didn't have any kids at the time. I didn't even have a girlfriend at that time. Pretty embarrassing deal, right, for me. I'm like, well, what the hell, Mind you, to come to find out, by the way, it was full of cancer. They actually end up taking everything connected to my left side. And they don't cut you on your sack, by the way, guys. They cut you up like where you've ever seen people. I don't have my appendix either, so my right side's got a massive scar. But on the left side, I have a massive scar on my belt line, and they pull all that shit through there. I don't know if any of you guys ever grew up on a farm, if you know what castrating hogs is or cattle. That's what it pretty much felt like. That was the worst pain I've ever been in my life after that surgery. I mean, I felt like I was castrated. That's honestly what I felt like. All those muscles that you have in your groin and stuff, they're all like a rubber band. You imagine cutting that. It's pretty much what they did. Now, mind you, now I gotta backtrack because I've had people ask me this question. This is, like I said, if you're still with me, I appreciate it. I was 23 at this time. What caused it? I remember asking the guy, I said, how can I have cancer? I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. He goes, son, it doesn't pick and choose. He goes, you're just unlucky. And I'm like, so nothing that I've done in my life caused this? He's like, no, you're just unlucky. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So mind you, backtrack to when I was 17 years old in high school. I was playing a pickup basketball game in the summer with my team. And you guys have ever played basketball on a court. I played basketball my whole freaking life. You get hit in the balls sometimes. It hurts, right? You shake it off. A couple minutes later, you're fine. I got hit in the balls or whatever. Didn't think anything of it. And it was like 2 weeks later. And like I said, I'm 17 years old. I'm still in high school at this point. And I asked my mom, I said, man, my left side kind of hurts yet. And she's like, well, we'll take you into, your doctor that I had throughout my whole high school. Mind you, this doctor, this guy, the physician, whatever he was, he actually worked for the University of Nebraska in the football teams. He's a super cool guy. He's been my physician my whole entire life when I was younger, did my physicals, all that kind of stuff. So I knew this guy very well. He's a really good guy. Anyway, I go to him and I tell him, I'm like, dude, this is what I got going on. And this is what I want to tell guys, and this is important. I'm going to be graphic here. I apologize, but like your sack, I noticed my left testicle internally felt almost like it had wrinkles in it. Like, you guys know what a testicle looks like it's supposed to be oval. My left one felt like it was just like, I don't even know what the word, like dried up, like it was like almost like a prune. Like you could feel on the inside of that testicle. This sounds super graphic, but it felt like it had wrinkles in it, and it was like shrunk compared to the other one. You know, when you guys are in the shower, you make sure you wash and check and stuff. I'm not shitting you. It felt deformed, I guess would be the word I want to use, deformed internally in there. And then it was never like that before. This was after I got hit in the ball. So I told him exactly what happened, and he goes, does it cause you a lot of pain? I'm like, no, but sometimes it aches a little bit. It just doesn't feel right? And he's like, Chris, I think you just probably got hit there super hard. But he's like, keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Check it every once in a while. If it gets any worse or the pain gets worse, come in, talk to me, get it looked at right away. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I think nothing of this. Mind you, this is 5 years prior. Weird deal. So mind you, in those 5 years, actually that pain went away, but my testicle never changed. It just felt deformed in there. I knew that for the next 5 years, thought nothing of it. It just must have got hit hard, and it was it took a little abuse there. I don't know, right? Like that's all I can honestly say there. I'm not an expert, but that's what I thought. So fast forward to 2023, and after I get my testicle removed, I come to find out that I actually, either I had it then, when I was 17, and it sat dormant until I got hit there again 5 years later with that 2x4 that my friend accidentally hit me with. True freaking story. And it just escalated. It took off. That's why it spread so goddamn quickly. Like, it was moving at such a rapid pace in that day and a half. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. So mind you, I have my surgery. They remove it. And the next step was, because it was so rapidly spreading, it had started to work its way up. The big discussion then was, okay, what do we do? Like, do we give you radiation? They couldn't give me radiation because I was so young. That's more for older people because it really takes a beating on your body. I had to do chemo. And guys, I want to say this. I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this, you know of a loved one or probably lost a loved one or somebody battling with cancer and is going through chemo. Like I said, I'm being 100% honest with you. I learned a lot about cancer in this time and chemo and that whole thing because I had to live it. I can't tell you after that, dealing with chemo, how miserable that makes you feel, how bad I feel for the people that have to have these doses every week or every 2 weeks. Like, you are one tough son of a bitch. That shit is the most nastiest stuff I have ever seen or I've ever gone through. I would rather have my testicle removed a million times over than have to do chemo again. They gave me 3 massive doses instead of spreading it out because I was younger and I thought that I could take it on. What it did to my body, because it basically kills everything. It is a nasty thing. It, obviously wanted to kill all the cancer cells, but it takes the white blood cells. So then, by the way, you have no white blood cells in your body. The common cold can kill you over that time. So I had to stay basically quarantined in my parents' basement for 6 freaking months. I told you guys, and this is what I was alluding to earlier about the whole story with me working out and all that stuff and trying to put on weight. I had got up to about 215. Less than 3 weeks after taking chemo, I was down to 175 pounds. I am not shitting you. I was skin and bones. It just deteriorates your body from the inside. That's some nasty shit. I'm sure there's people watching this know more about it than I do, but my God. The weirdest thing I can tell you about it is I remember when I was on it, and of course I had to stay at my parents' house and I was quarantined in the basement. I missed Thanksgiving, obviously. I missed Christmas. I couldn't be around anybody but my mom and my dad because the common cold could kill you. And that's not a joke. I remember I craved a pop or Mountain Dew for some odd reason. I wanted one because I rarely drank pop, but I'm like, God, man, I'm thirsty. I want something more than water. I drank a pop and I drank I took 1 swig of a Mountain Dew and I remember it tasting like Clorox. It was so gross. It messes with your whole sinuses, your taste, your smell, everything. That shit is so nasty. I was never so happy to get done with chemo. It was, God, I'd never pray to God that none of you guys ever have to go through it or anybody. That shit is horrible. I can't stress that enough. I will tell you a crazy thing though, and they're not lying to you. I learned a lot, like I said, in this whole process here. No shit. When I had my first dose of chemo, they told me this. They go, Chris, a couple things might happen here. He goes, I have really straight hair. I don't have curly hair. I have straight hair. And mind you, at that point, I really couldn't grow much of a beard, but my hair was actually pretty blonde for most of my life. It's a lot darker now. He told me, he's like, your hair color could change with chemo. He goes, you could have straight hair and it could be curly or curly and go to straight for the rest of your life. He goes, you don't know what it's going to do. Your hair could also fall out. He goes, but in 21 days, you'll know. I'll never forget this. 21 days. I'm like, how the hell do these people know 21 days? I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm not shitting you guys. As soon as day 21 happened, that morning, I got up to take a shower that morning, and I'm washing my hair, and just chunks of hair are coming out of my head. No shit. On the 21st day, I even did the math that day. I'm like, oh my God, they're right. I had to shave my head. That's why obviously you see people with, shaved heads. So sure as shit, I lost my hair. My hair then, months later, when it came back super darker, way darker than what it was. Crazy. Just a really aggressive, I guess, drug, if you want to call it, whatever it is. God, that shit is nasty. And what it does to your body, it's like it can almost change your DNA almost. That stuff is crazy. So true story there, though. True story. So anyway, I had to go back. I think for the first 6 months, I had to get poked almost every day. They had to draw my blood. And then a year after that, it was once a week. And yeah, man, I've been actually going now on 17 years cancer free. Thankfully, I do need to go get checked up again, but I am very lucky. I'm one of the very lucky ones. I guess with my whole story, guys, I won't get into anything else in it because I've rattled on here forever, but man, if you're a dude and you're a young guy, even if you're in your 40s, I don't give a shit. Man, if you have pain down there, get it checked out. When I talked to that guy that did my surgery, he told me, because I was just in awe that they were going to take my testicle like that. I asked him, I'm like, why me? I don't understand. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I just I don't get it. I lived a healthy life. I'm like, I did all these things I thought right, and I still get cancer. And he told me a couple really interesting things. He said, Chris, going forward, I want you to continue to take care of yourself. He's like, you're in elite shape. He's like, he goes, keep doing that. He's like, don't smoke, try not to drink, take care of your body, lift weights. He's like, because once you have cancer, son, he's like, you never truly get rid of it. He's like, they don't tell you that, but he's like, that is 100% facts. So man, with that being said, that was a huge eye-opener. Still one of the reasons why I still lift. Obviously, I'll talk about my alcoholism problem after that, years later, but that's a whole story for a different day because I'm not very smart, apparently. But my point is, guys, is like, take care of yourself if there are any issues, anything like that, because he told me also that he's like, if you wouldn't have came in maybe the day later, he goes, Chris, you probably wouldn't be here. It was spreading that rapidly. It's crazy. I don't know how to explain it. I probably didn't do a great job of explaining it, but if you're a guy out there, guys, please get your junk checked. If you have problems, you notice something's wrong or it even hurts. I know we all get hit in the balls once in a while. It's not a very good pain to feel, trust me. And you guys know what I'm saying. Get it looked at. Don't F around. Don't do what I did. I prolonged that shit for even probably a day too late. Just not a very smart thing to do. Get it looked at. Stay ahead of that stuff, man. I'm anti going to a hospital. I hate being in a hospital. I had my appendix damn near explode when I was a kid. I hate that type of stuff. But man, if something's that bad, guys, and especially dealing with it down there as a dude, I know we're all supposed to be tough, and I get all that. But man, go in and get it looked at. Worst case scenario, they tell you, hey, you pulled your groin or you got a hernia, right? Better than cancer. It's not fun. But I did learn a lot. I look at it as a life lesson more than I do anything. And I learned a lot about cancer. Like I said, I was a dumb 23-year-old kid. Hell, I might be a dumb 40-year-old guy right now. But learned a lot about that process and learned a lot about how to take care of yourself. I learned that, hey, you don't take life for granted type of thing. Like I said, I thought I was invincible. I didn't think anybody could touch me at 23. Seriously, great shape. I work my ass off. I take care of my body, that type of thing, man. It doesn't matter. You see people it's weird. You see people that abuse their body for 60, 70 years and live to be 100. And then you got some kid like me, and sadly, there's kids, obviously babies born with it, and which is super sad, or 12, 13-year-old kids getting leukemia and shit like that. They didn't do anything wrong. That's how I feel about that. So please take care of yourself, guys. And that's my story. I know I rambled on there. It's probably a lot, but I wanted to share that, especially it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I think we all know that in football, everybody wears the pink stuff and all that. I think April is actually Testicular Cancer Month. I think I might be wrong on that, but get your stuff checked, guys. It's something that's a very serious thing. It happened to me, and hopefully if you took anything from this, man, stay on top of that kind of stuff. Pay attention to your body. Your body's really smart. You guys know if something's wrong, so get it looked at. So with that being said, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for listening.